Today we are going to study the structure of listening tasks 3 through 9 and all the strategies to complete them. First, let's have a look at the task. In each task here, you have a question that you need to answer, like in 3 or 7, or a statement that you need to complete, like in 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Each task offers you 3 options. You need to choose one of those 3. In total, you have 7 tasks based on the same audio. The audio that you're going to listen to here is usually an interview. So there are 2 people talking, a host who asks questions and a guest who answers them. One good thing about the questions is that they follow the text. So usually you'll find the answer to the first question somewhere at the beginning of the audio and the answer to the last question somewhere at the end. But that's it for good news here. Guys, these tasks are usually difficult. They officially test a higher level of English than listening 1 or 2. So, what do we need to succeed? First of all, we need real focus here. Focus on actively listening to the recording, paying attention to details, intonation, and context, because these tasks test your ability to listen for details. But before you do that, as usual, you need to study the tasks. Before the recording starts, quickly skim through the task questions and predict what type of information you will need to focus on. Guys, I recommend not reading the options before you listen for the first time, because these audios are usually full of distractors. Just to remind you, a distractor is something that draws your attention from the right answer. It is a wrong answer that is similar to the right one. A distractor is very often a phrase from one of the options used in a totally different context. So, not to confuse yourself, please first keep your attention on the questions and what you need to hear. Then, when you listen for the second time, you will compare what you heard against the options in the task and decide which is closer to the things you heard. In the questions and in the options, notice the negative particle not. Write a minus or an X somewhere next to it to make sure you remember that when you're choosing your answer. If you have any pronouns in the options, make sure you understand what or who they refer to. You can just write above the pronoun the thing or person it refers to, not to get confused when you're listening. While the recording is playing, pay attention to the context and the speaker's tone to better understand their attitudes, opinions, and purposes. Because tasks 3 through 9 test your ability to get someone else's meaning and opinion. Here, the strategy of inferring will be very, very useful. What is inferring? To infer is to conclude something by reasoning and logic rather than receiving an explanation. So, the strategy of inferring is understanding something that is not said directly. Let's take an example. Let's imagine you have this question in one of the tasks. What is Julia's reaction to her friend's news? And 3 options, as usual. First, she is pleasantly surprised. Second, she doesn't believe it. And third, she feels sympathy for her friend. And imagine that I'm Julia for a second. In the audio, you hear me say this. Oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you. It's absolutely awful that you had to experience that. Are you all right, dear? Think about it. 1, 2, or 3? Well, I hope you said 3. That's the right answer. Let's have a look at the transcript of what I just said. Number 1 is wrong because of the word pleasantly. I am definitely surprised, and you get that from my intonation, but there's nothing pleasant about it. I can't believe is a distractor for option number 2, right? In this case, it doesn't literally mean that I don't believe the news. It means that the news is very shocking. That's it. Number 3 can be difficult to choose if you don't know the word sympathy. It sounds like a Russian word, sympatичный, right? But has nothing to do with it in meaning. When we feel sympathy, we feel sorry for the person and want to help them somehow. So, option 3 is the right answer here. Guys, another important thing to remember is that the information provided may be paraphrased in the questions, so you need to identify similar or related ideas to choose the most appropriate answer. Make sure to listen for synonyms and paraphrasing while you're doing these tasks. One last thing I want to mention here is that it is very hard to do this task without the skill of note-taking. So I encourage you to learn how to do that effectively this year, practice a lot, and use this strategy at the exam. You will have a chance to watch me do it during the second part of our lesson today. The main idea here is to note down only the important stuff, meaning the stuff that you identify as I need when you read the questions. And guys, use abbreviations. If you practice, you'll come up with them pretty quickly, but they do need to be yours for you to understand them. Okay guys, let's sum it up. What do you do when it's time for listening 3 through 9? 1. Read all the questions, mark what you need, and try to understand the main topic. 2. Make notes while listening for the first time, only keywords and use abbreviations. Before the second listening, read all the options, compare them to your notes. Number 4. Listen for the second time, paying attention to distractors and inferring. And check again the way the question is structured, what is being actually asked, the way the options are structured, if they are negative or positive, what the pronouns refer to. For each correct answer, you get 1 point. You have 7 tasks based on the same audio, so that'll be 7 points for 7 correct answers. Guys, I encourage you to practice these strategies in your exam preparation and continue to improve your listening skills through regular practice. The more you listen, the better chance you'll have at the exam. Alright, that's it from me for now. A couple of exercises are waiting for you under this video. See you in the next one.